2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, the 18th of January, and it's National Gourmet Coffee Day. And a big happy birthday to Kevin Costner, Pep Guardiola, and Jason Segel. With no end in sight to any of the current strikes, the news that teachers now plan to join the picket line was greeted with a weary sigh by a nation growing accustomed to placards and protests. Teachers in England and Wales are planning to strike on 7 days in February and March, beginning on the 1st of Feb. Kevin Courtney, General Secretary of the National Education Union, says the situation in schools has gotten to the point where it's just intolerable and the issue of teachers' pay needs to be addressed.
We don't want to disrupt anything. We want the government to sit down and talk with us to avoid the disruption that's going on every day in our schools.
Even as the government moves its legislation to restrict strikes through Parliament, Education Minister Gillian Keegan was saying it probably couldn't be used to keep schools open anyway. She met with unions on Tuesday but says it's not her job to negotiate pay.
One of the things I've said is you don't need to strike to get my attention, and I very much have engaged with the unions ever since I've had the job.
Scotland's new gender reform legislation has sparked a furious row as the UK government's announced it's intending to block the Scottish bill to protect equality laws across Britain. Scottish Secretary for Social Justice Shona Robinson told BBC Scotland that the move to block an act approved by Scottish Parliament's outrageous and may have wider implications.
I think it's a dark day for democracy in the UK, and I think people should be very concerned that this is the thin edge of the wedge for future legislation.
In the Commons, SNP spokesperson Dr Philippa Whitford predicted that the matter will end up in court.
Why is he using one of the most marginalised groups in society to pick a fight with the Scottish Parliament? And does he recognise that vetoing this bill simply highlights the hollow reality of devolution?
The Government Scotland Secretary Alistair Jack says the legal advice they have is very clear and is happy to lay it out.
The Equality Act 2010 is reserved, and there are adverse effects, and they will be there in the Statement of Reasons.
The Met Police remained firmly in the spotlight on Tuesday as Home Secretary Suella Braverman announced an internal review of their dismissal processes after the organisation failed to remove admitted serial rapist David Carrick despite allegations spanning 2 decades. Met Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley wasn't pulling any punches as he apologised for the failures that left Carrick as a serving officer.
We've led London down. He's been a police officer for 20 years. Through a combination of weak policies and weak decisions, over those 20 years we missed opportunities when he joined, and subsequently as behaviour came to the fore that we should have removed him from policing.
Former Detective Superintendent Shabnam Chowdhury says it's actions, not words, that are critical at this point, and the organisation needs serious change.
Let's not forget the Met are still in special measures. They've got to root out the rotten apples within policing. That is going to take time. He's got to change the culture of the organisation.
The death toll from Russia's missile attack on the Ukrainian town of Dnipro has now reached more than 45 people, including at least 6 children. The attacks galvanised more support for Ukraine, with the Dutch committing to donating a Patriot missile defence system, and the Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzhny met with the Pentagon's top general Mark Milley in Poland. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who was speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, said that the EU will continue to support Ukraine militarily.
But I've said from the onset of this atrocious war that Ukraine should get all the military equipment it needs and it can handle. And this also includes the advanced system.
Tuesday also saw Elena Zelenska, First Lady of Ukraine, speak in Davos with a warning that Russia won't stop with just Ukraine.
And you know that the Russian aggression was never intended to restrict itself to the Ukrainian borders. This war can go further and it make crises wider if the aggressor does not lose.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Liverpool escape from the Wolves and the Popmaster springs a surprise. Right after this. Welcome back.
3.
This week sees the FA Cup third round replays with 6 games on Tuesday and the rerun of Leeds versus Cardiff City on Wednesday. The Accrington Stanley game versus Boreham Wood had to be postponed after the pitch was deemed unplayable, while West Brom, Birmingham, Bristol City and Luton all made it through. Wolves hosted Liverpool live on the BBC, where a porn prank with a phone hidden in the studio left Gary Lineker somewhat red-faced. Ignoring the odd noises, Liverpool got a comfortable 1-0 win thanks to a 13-minute wonder goal from Harvey Elliott, which left Jurgen Klopp feeling very satisfied indeed.
Really happy in the moment, of course, because it was not some game, and what we played, we should be happy. Of course, everybody can and should expect the reaction from us. That's what we showed tonight, obviously, in pretty much all departments of a football game. And so we had to fight hard, and that's what we did as well. And so we came through, and was a typical cup game, I would say, and a good reaction.
He's the affable voice of mid-mornings on BBC Radio 2, but he sprang a surprise on The Nation on Tuesday. Ken Bruce is leaving the nation's favourite station and crossing the road to Bauer's Greatest Hits network. The announcement came out of the blue on his show on Tuesday morning, and before you ask, yes, Popmaster's moving too. They'll all be on the Greatest Hits network sometime in April.
I have now decided that the time is right for me to move on from Radio 2. Nothing stays the same forever, and I really must stress that this is entirely my decision entirely. However, some new opportunities have come up, and I would like to continue my career in just a slightly different way.
I mean, don't ever ask him for directions.
This is the way.
But he's back for season 3. It's the Mandalorian and his travelling companion Grogu, better known to most of us as Baby Yoda. Pedro Pascal's having quite the week, really, between The Last of Us and Mandalorian, and the new season picking up more or less where we left off, on the travels of the man with a shiny helmet. Careful. The trailer just dropped and it's due to hit Disney Plus on March the 1st.
Being a Mandalorian's not just learning about how to fight. You also have to know how to navigate the galaxy. That way, you'll never be lost.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.